Hey, Rory.
Hey, Sarah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Owen. How are you?
Not too bad now. Not too bad. Just wait another 2 or 3 minutes for the time to come, and Reese is coming on as well, I think.
Yep. Right.
What's the weather like in Stockholm and New York?
It's getting a little bit colder now, which is kind of nice though after a very hot summer. So it's kind of the change, but no, it's nice. It's nice.
It's basically the
Okay, I
same here. It's like 14 degrees, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get that
No.
cold just yet. Time's it for you there now, Clara? 9?
It is, yeah, just coming up on 9 a.m. Do you have a time difference in Stockholm?
We're an hour ahead of Dublin, so it's coming up to 3 now for us.
Okay, no worries.
Hi.
Hey, Maurice.
How are you?
Hey, Marisa.
Hey.
How are things? So will we get going then and see, or will we give another 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we give
Never.
us? Okay, perfect. So I'll introduce myself first, and then we can all introduce each other and kind of give an overview, I suppose, where we came from college or undergraduate, where we're from, I suppose, in Ireland, and then I suppose where you're based and where we're all based. So nice to meet everyone on the call. My name is Owen Garrity. I'm from Galway and I work in the Dublin office in Borbia. So my job is working on the Origin Green team, which is the sustainability team in Ireland. And I work in the agri-sustainability team within Origin Green. So day to day, I kind of work with food processor companies, dairy companies, looking at their sustainability credentials and how to improve them. So if you want to go, Clara, you're first on my screen there. You can go next.
Yeah, perfect. So, hi everyone, and my name is Clara McDonough. I'm from Wicklow, and I studied international business in the University of Limerick. I'm one of the grads based here in our New York office. So kind of my day to day is I'm based across the retail and food service portfolios, so covering sectors like dairy, meat, seafood, prepared consumer foods.
Great stuff. Rory.
I'm Rory Garland. I'm from Skerries in Dublin. I did international business with Spanish in DCU. I'm based here in our Stockholm market, so my day-to-day would be kind of assisting with my manager, and our main thing would be we'd be promoting beef and lamb in all the Nordic regions, and then we'd also help with any queries from Irish brands in general looking to enter the market. So that would be the main thing that I would do.
Good stuff. And Marisa.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Marisa. I am from Tipperary, and I did my undergraduate degree in BES, so Business and Economics from Trinity. I'm based in Boardbia's London office, where I work across dairy, seafood, alcohol, and meat.
Super, good stuff. And I think I forgot to mention as well, my undergrad was in UCD. I did food and agribusiness management. So I have a few questions here that we can just that I'll ask the three of you and just get the ball rolling. And then if any of the audience have any questions, just pop them in the chat and we'll try to get to them at the end. So first, I'll go back to you, Claire, again. So why did you first apply for the program, and is it kind of what you thought it would be when you applied for it?
Yeah, so I suppose for me, like, I was kind of interested in exploring like the food and drink space, but I also found like it was a toss-up in final year of whether to pursue a master's or go out to work full time. So kind of really then when I saw Board B's program, it was kind of like that perfect blend of offering the two. And then I suppose getting started into the program, it was hard to know what to expect in the sense of, you know, how much weight is on the master's or kind of like what your role is going to be like. So I just kind of felt getting started, even in that like first month in Dublin when we first did like onboarding and getting to know all the different teams. It's not just your own role that you learn about and kind of learn about your day-to-day tasks. It's also like learning about the organization as a whole. And I feel like that kind of really helped then starting out the role, like in understanding what the sectors are about, kind of like what the work board BIA does at every level, whether it's kind of through Origin Green or whether it's through supporting a client in route to market development. So I just kind of found that it was that kind of perfect blend, and having the masters to support that, I suppose, kind of like putting into practice the theory that we learn in UCD. So I thought it was really beneficial in that aspect.
Yeah, super. Good stuff. Rory, I might come to you next.
Yep. So I think, for me, I was getting to the end of final year in DC. It was kind of like that period where everyone's got all these programs they're applying for. And obviously my modules or my course wasn't like a food specific course. So initially this program wasn't something I considered, but it was actually sent to me by a family member. And then as I read through it, I thought this sounds really interesting, like opportunity to potentially live abroad, work abroad, like working abroad in the foreign market, like the experience you'll get for that is fantastic. And then even in the Dublin market, like like the businesses and companies that the Dublin grads are working with is just, it's phenomenal, the experience you get. But I read through the benefits that the program offers, and I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of work with promoting Ireland and its products. So that was enough to get me hooked, and I was lucky enough to get to the final stage of the group. So
yeah, great stuff. And Marisa?
Yeah, so I suppose I am kind of mirroring what Cara and Rory would have said, that, in final year, I kind of found myself at that crossroads of, do I want to go into work straight away, or do I want to go down the master's route? And then for me, I really wanted to go abroad. So kind of trying to juggle the three of those was difficult, I guess, and trying to make that decision. So when I saw this program, it ticked all three of those boxes. Giving you the opportunity to move abroad if you want, and then also, getting that master's from UCD, which is so relevant then to the work that we're doing in Board BIA, and then still having that Irish connection when you live abroad. So I guess, yeah, those kind of three factors were probably the main ones for me that would have been my driving forces for applying.
Yeah, no, that's super. Sounds very good. So it does. And then when you started the program, when you got into your new markets, how did you find the first? I know we were based in Dublin first, going through college in Smurfit, but then once you got out to your markets, how did you find kind of the onboarding time, I suppose, in new cities and moving away from home for the first time for a big chunk of time? How did that go? Was it smooth, or was it challenging? So Clara, I might come back to you first, seeing as you're the furthest away.
Yeah, so I suppose definitely kind of found, compared to like during college, I lived abroad before, but it was in Europe. So I think like moving to New York was a huge jump, not just in work, but also just kind of navigating every aspect of it. It's a very like fast moving city, like kind of no one really waits around. So it's kind of adapting to that culture, and like in terms of say finding accommodation or even just like your day to day, how you're getting to the office, things like that. Like it is a big jump, but I think the great thing, especially at a city like New York, is kind of like echoing what Marisa said, like that Irish connection is there, and like people just want to support each other and see each other do well. So that was like one aspect that like even outside of work, like meeting colleagues who are also Irish, just kind of like having that experience that people have gone through before you and are kind of able to kind of support you in that aspect. So it was definitely a little bit longer of a settling period than I had expected, but I think kind of Board B, I kind of were able to support that as well with having grads in the market too, and being able to chat to people about kind of their experiences and kind of what they recommend in settling in.
Yeah, no, great stuff, great stuff. And Rory, up in the Nordics, what was it like up there?
Yeah, it's like Clara. I spent a bit of time in Europe on an Erasmus, but the one thing I learned being up here is Europe is very different. Like up in Scandinavia, it's almost like you're on a different continent. It's everything is so efficient here. It's like the public transport, the shops, everything. They're so on the ball. And luckily enough, one thing that I was able to do is I was able to get in contact with the grad who was in our market before I think I first met him, which I would highly recommend if you have some contacts or LinkedIn, just connect with them and talk to them. So I was able to learn a good bit about, where's the best place to live, the best sites to look up for accommodation, even and just get general tips on the area. And I guess another thing, going to another country with a completely different currency, like the Scandinavian currencies are mad because they're not like pounds or dollars where it's similar enough to euro. The ones here, like they're in the like you could buy a thing of Irish steak and it'll be till say 200 sec, where it's actually like way less than that. So getting used to the currency is a bit strange, but the team we have here in market, and then the support we have from Wordbia itself, it's just made the onboarding so much easier, and you get used to it so quick. The winter you get a little bit, it takes you a bit of time to get used to that, but honestly, altogether it's great. Like, and I found it very easily to adapt to living here, so that was brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, great stuff. And then Marisa, what's a bigger Dublin like over in London?
Yeah, exactly. So it was nice because it was like London, it's so close to home, and there is so many Irish people here, which is nice. So definitely made the transition easier. Similar to Rory, I reached out. There's 2 grads in the London office prior to my intake, so I reached out to them beforehand, which definitely, made a big difference with even just because it is such a big city, like compared even to Dublin, just even with where to live, that could be, commutable for the office. So that definitely just made it easier reaching out to them. And just leaning on, I lent on people that I would have known. A bit of an easier process. And then, as you mentioned, Owen, at the start, we had that month all together at the start, which definitely, made it easier because, we probably were more confident going into our markets because we had that month together, getting established in, in Board B, and, building that relationship with the team in our markets virtually. That just definitely made it a bit of a less daunting experience than moving away.
Yeah. I know it's brilliant. I know it's a great oversight from 3V. And then, like, when you got into your role after a few weeks and you kind of understood the market and everything, how it goes, like your day-to-day jobs, I suppose, are they day-to-day jobs, or like is everything changing every week? Is there like kind of are you given a task that you have to complete like every day of every week, or how does it work? What's, I suppose, what could be the thing that gets you out of the bed in the morning to go to work? What's the most exciting parts of your job? Or maybe if you give us one example. Marisa, I might start with you this time, seeing as I've got the laugh too.
Thanks, Owen. So for me, as I mentioned at the start, I work across 4 different categories. So dairy, seafood, alcohol, and meat. So all quite different. So I guess kind of then as a result of that, my roles within each category are quite different. So for me anyways, I would have kind of a set of tasks that might be, more day to day, but then I guess then also what I really like about my role is that it does change a lot. So for example, we would do a lot of social media campaigns in the UK market, which is something I really enjoy, and getting to work with different influencers, and getting to work with them on the content creation side, and then on the social media side then. So that's something that I would really enjoy. So definitely can get out of bed easier on the days when we're doing things like that, for sure. But yeah, definitely my role is very varying, I would say, week on week, just depending the time of year we have on.
Yeah, no, great stuff. And then Rory, what's it like up near the?
Yes. So mine would be similar to Marisa. So I'm actually I would be the only graduate in this market, so I would do like a lot of the work when it comes to all the bits. So it would mainly be beef, lamb, and PCF, which is prepared consumer foods. So it does vary. There's day-to-day stuff and there's longer stuff. So like a longer stuff could be example of I could get a query from a company who are looking to get an insight into a certain product category, like it could be biscuits or something like that. And basically what I would do is I would go out into the market and I would go to the shops, I would look at all the products, I would research, and I would compile an overview for them, and I would give it to them. That would be an example of a longer thing. Where day-to-day things would be working with our social media teams like Marisa, you know, helping them curate our different posts and stuff, and then just keeping track of what we're doing. And I think overall, I just, you know, I enjoy the research aspect of it. Like I really like, you know, looking at different shops, looking at different products, and just like seeing how they compare to Irish, and how could an Irish product, you know, slip in here, and like where are the gaps and stuff. So that would be they would be the day-to-day things, and then the reports would be the longer things. There's two examples
Very
that I have.
good. Sounds like you're going to the big shopping hall every day, Rory. So it is up there.
I'm in there every day. Yeah.
And then Clara, what's it like in New York? What's the job that gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, like I'd say I'd kind of echo exactly what like Rory and Marisa said. Like similarly, having a couple of sectors to cover, it's very varying and diverse. So, like basic level, we kind of would do say route to market for clients. So the supply chain and stuff in the US can be quite complex depending on, you know, the regionality of it. So kind of basic research like regulatory things like that. But then also like similar to Rory, kind of desk and in market research. So kind of seeing what innovation is on the shelves and how can we like report that back to clients in the sense of what's doing well, what's up and coming, but then also like organizing events such as bringing chefs and media and influencers together to kind of understand like, for example, the quality sustainability behind Irish meat and things like that. And then also similarly, I'd be involved in organizing bringing buyers back to Ireland and kind of showcasing farms and visits out to distilleries and things like that. So yeah, I think for me, it's that no week is really the same. That, you know, kind of just like Marisa said, depending on the time of year, that things can change up. I think that is kind of what gets me out of bed. It's kind of that you know that every week you're going to be working on something different and kind of gaining an insight and an experience into something that you necessarily mightn't.
Yeah, I know I missed that the punchline there at the end. Sorry,
Oh,
maybe the rest of them didn't. No, that's perfect. That's brilliant. And then so in the whole like the whole 2 year program, what's the one thing that you love the most about it? So is it the masters? Is it the amount of companies, Irish companies you get to work with? Is it the people you meet in the office? Is it the friends you make in the other cities that you live in? Like, what would you say is the one thing that you just love about the 2 years? I start with you again, Risa. That's okay.
Yeah. Um, I think it is definitely difficult to pinpoint one. From the sort of work side, I enjoy working with the different clients of different sizes as well, and seeing, you know, how they can grow and develop in, you know, not their domestic environments. So for me, the UK, like that's something that I really enjoy seeing, and kind of seeing it through from start as well, and then seeing the wins come through that is something that I would really enjoy. And then from more of a program level, definitely for me, it's that opportunity getting to do the masters. You know, I think it is quite a unique opportunity coming out after the 2 years with the 2 years work experience and the masters alongside it. So that's definitely a big for me from the program side.
Yeah, no, brilliant, yeah. And Rory?
Um, it probably comes back down to the fact just the opportunities you get to get away from the desk. So, you know, going to visit these shops, going to the trade fairs, and if I have to pinpoint an even more specific one, it's the people you meet. You know, throughout the program, you're gonna meet some really interesting people, and you're gonna have some really insightful conversations. And you know, by the end of it, you'll be even wiser than you were before, because some of these people, the stories they have, the insights they can give you, and you know, just the characters, you meet the most wonderful people. And you know, throughout trade fairs, whether it's just people coming to visit your stall we have up when we're promoting beef or lamb or whatever, or it's, you know, if you're at another event like you know, we had an event there, I think it was like a golf tournament, and just the people you get to chat when you're just talking about Irish beef and lamb, it's, you know, it's really great hearing these people, and especially if you're in a market that you've never been to before, you're really getting to speak to the real people. So I just really enjoyed that. So that'd probably be my favorite part.
No, great stuff, great stuff. And Clara?
yeah, I would say I'm the same as Rory. It's kind of like all the different types of people you make and kind of the connections that you form. Whether, you know, it could just be at like the kind of surface level or kind of really getting an insight into a certain category or a certain product, I think that's just been a great experience, like across the board, and kind of having those varying experiences, whether it's like through a meet event or whether it's just simply like going out in a store and you meet someone who happens to be, you know, putting the product on the shelf, and their like consumer experience and things like that. So I think it's just kind of both in the office and outside, kind of getting that experience as a whole has been really great, and that's kind of one thing I really enjoy.
Yeah. No, 100%, yeah, absolutely. And then come from the Dublin side as well. Like, I think one of the best things about it is when you're working with Board B, especially in the food, you can you get an oversight of so many different companies. You know, for a grad program, it's not like just based on one company that you go in with. So you can see how all of our client companies are working, how they make their products, how they advertise them, and how it works for them. You know, so no, it's great. It's great for that. And then just going back to the masters there, Maurice, I know you mentioned that it's a great asset for the course. Like, do you think it's the only course that kind of gives you 2 years working in the field and in the industry and then getting a master's on the side as well? Or do you have any opinions on how it is maybe to study alongside the course for the 2 years? Have you anything to add on that?
Yeah, thanks, Owen. So, well, from my research into jobs, it was the only one I came across anyway that had the masters alongside the work. So I'm not, there could be other grad programs like that, but from my research, the only one I saw. But yeah, the kind of juggling the two, like, I mean, everyone within Board B is very aware that you're doing a master's, and then everyone from the UCD side is aware that you're also working full time. So there is a good balance, and there's a lot of communication and understanding across both sides, which definitely then makes it easier for as the grads kind of in the middle. And we don't, like, with the lectures, they're not on all the time. They're sort of split out throughout the year, which also makes it easier as well then to juggle the work with assignments, because you also get a lot of notice, so you know when you need to fit them in. So yeah, I think it's that sort of understanding from the Board B side and from UCD definitely makes it much easier to juggle, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, 100%. Either of you anything to add to that, Clara or Rory?
I would kind of say the same. I think it's great that from both a Board B and UCD perspective that they're understanding and kind of support that balance. But yeah, I think it is great to have that support, that it's an understanding that if work gets hectic, or the same as, you know, when you have deadlines and assignments to do, there's support on either side.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. No, 100%, yeah. And then maybe just bringing a question in, accommodation when you got to your different cities, was it hard to find it at first? Like, you know, it might be a big jump for some people going over. Is it DAF that you use, or what networks do you use to try to find a bed? Do you have any tips on that for potential successful graduates?
I'm gonna go first.
You can go, Rory.
Yeah, I'll fire away. Anyway, for Stockholm, there are a few sites. The main site that like students and workers come into use would be a site called CASA, QASA, and I have to say from my experience with them, they're brilliant. It's so easy to rent, and their helpline are literally like, you can go onto a live chat whenever you want, and they will help you all the time, and they're very much in favor of the tenant. So if there's any ever disputes or something, they're very much like, you know, we take the tenant side unless it's something ridiculous. So I found them to be absolutely brilliant. That would be the main one. When it comes to like looking for one, I think I started looking for my accommodation around May, June time, or no, it was May, June time. I think it was maybe around April, June, sorry, because I think we were jetting off in July. So I gave myself about 2.5, 3 months, and I would recommend around that time period as well, because I know the girls are probably saying it was probably a bit harder for them. Well, I imagine, because some countries, you know, they can be tough to find. I was lucky enough that I just got one off the bat, but I would definitely recommend give yourself a couple of months, look through, find the best sites, talk to people you know there, and yeah, just really look through your options and make sure you're getting the right thing for yourself, location, all that, and then you'll be grand.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, and even I think you mentioned earlier on as well, talking to the grads that were there previously, because obviously they have 2 years experience in the city, so they know the good spots, the bad spots, and where's the best place to live, I suppose, for work and for social life. Definitely. As well. Great stuff, yeah. And when you moved out, did you join any clubs, or is it hard to integrate into the communities? Or what's your thoughts on that? I know in Dublin it's very easy to find a GA club. It might be harder out in foreign markets.
Yeah, I don't mind jumping in. I play GA over here, so it's very like there's so many GA clubs in New York. So it's kind of a great way to meet a lot of other Irish people, even just like from the social aspect of it as well. It's kind of great to branch out. And yeah, I think the GAA is always kind of a good one. Like even like there's a lot of people that join just as a social member, so it's not even there's no pressure. There's no like heavy competitiveness. It's just kind of to have that kind of community, and that's kind of something I think that's like really nice when you move abroad, and especially sometimes maybe if you're in a market where you're the only grad, or there might only be two of you out there. It's kind of nice then to feel like you've that sense of community outside of work as well.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. In London, Marisa, is it hard to find friends over there?
I guess what's nice is because it is so close to home, there is a lot of Irish people around, which is nice. There's also GAA clubs. I took up running when I came here, which was, yeah, everyone just kind of was running. So that was a good way to meet people. But no, in general, like I found since I moved over, everyone's just extremely friendly. And you might know the people, but everyone's very welcoming, and you might have been in the same college with them, but you might know them. Like if you reach out to people, everyone's really willing to kind of make friends, I guess, because everyone's in the same situation. So that was something that I really just did when I moved over, was just try to reach out to people to meet them. And yeah, like I think just be confident in that way, because everyone's in the same situation.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so have you any other topics you think we haven't covered, or because there's no questions coming in here yet, we must be doing a great job answering them all. I suppose what we could do is we could. Oh, sorry, Marisa.
No, I was just going to say, don't questions. Like I know from my side anyway, they can definitely reach out like on LinkedIn or whatever. Yeah, if they don't want to ask them today, but we would definitely take any.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of goes for all grads as well. If you're like looking at a certain market or something, you could just drop them a text on LinkedIn. I don't think anyone would have a problem with giving a quick reply. No. And then I suppose maybe the last question to finish on, because I suppose in 3 weeks the deadline is closing for applicants. Do you have any tips for candidates going in, like maybe just one thing to mention in an interview or in the application form that you think kind of gave you the edge on everyone else 2 years ago?
Yeah, I would say for myself, the one thing that was pointed out, and like speak with confidence. Like I can't stress that enough. There'll be times where you'll be talking and trying to convince whoever you're talking to why you should be on this program. And the one thing I'll say is just talk with confidence. Talk like you know what you're talking about. You should know what you're talking about. Talk like you know what you're talking. Be confident in everything you're saying. Come with the facts. Be prepared, and they will notice if you come prepared. They'll know if you speak with confidence, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for those people who can stand out like that. So that's what I would say.
Yeah,
definitely.
I know good stuff. Yeah.
I think as well, just from maybe the application side of things, just to make sure that your CV is, fully up to date. Just to kind of show, put you on the best foot from the start as well. Just kind of to make sure that those controllables, I guess, are in the best position that they can be, and that, you've shown that you've put the effort into that side of it as well, I think would definitely, definitely make a big difference.
Yeah, I'd agree on those points. I think kind of like similar to what Rory's saying, show that you're like passionate about the role and that you've like done your homework, and that you can go in and kind of speak with that confidence that you're a good fit, all your experience is up to date, and kind of really show why you'd be the best fit for the program.
Yeah, no, super. Yeah. Yeah, I just add maybe that to really kind of get into the Irish food industry as well and show why you want to work in it, and kind of, I suppose, any new kind of companies that have come on board with Board B and are doing well, kind of just look into them and how they're doing it and what products they're creating and stuff. It'd be good to know all that sort of stuff. I think that's all the questions that come in here. Ronan has just sent me a message there saying there's a question that came in about if international students are allowed to apply. So absolutely, yeah, international students can apply. The course is kind of aimed at nurturing Irish talent. So if you had like a link to Ireland in some way, it'd be great to kind of show that off. So that would be the answer to that. But yeah, internationals can apply. Yeah. So I think we can leave it there. And as Marisa said there, we're all kind of open for questions through LinkedIn. So best of luck to everyone applying, I suppose. Thanks a million, guys, for coming on today.
Thanks, everyone.
Weekend.
Best of luck, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Right.